Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so today we're plunging into the world of a watch that's, well, it's a genuine icon. Imagine a timepiece that's not just telling time, it's basically a piece of history that's literally been to the moon. We are talking about the Omega Speedmaster, but with a pretty exciting new twist. You've shared some great sources, and our mission today is really to unpack this latest version, the white dial Moonwatch.
Yeah, it's a fascinating one. It's such an iconic chronograph, isn't it? Introduced way back in '57, it's aged so gracefully, kept that incredible history. And while everyone knows the classic black dial moonwatch professional,
Mhm.
our deep dive today, well, it's going to show how Omega kind of dug into its own archives.
Yeah.
A whole mother lode of Speedmaster references. That's how they made this new one feel both familiar, but also really fresh.
Okay, yeah, let's get into that legendary status. The Speedmaster, it's iconic for a reason, right? Usually that classic black dial. But this new white dial version, it just came out earlier this year. That feels like a pretty big shift, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, what's really key here, is this is the first regular production steel moonwatch with a white dial.
First regular production steel one. Okay.
Exactly. But it's important to remember, a white dial itself isn't totally new for the wider Speedmaster family. We've seen them on, limited editions, like the recent Snoopy watches
Ah, right, the Snoopy one.
and the old Alaska Project watches from '69. They even reissued one of those in 2008. This new one, though, it pulls inspiration from a more obscure reference, the Albino 3893.12.
The albino.
Yeah, from 1997 for the Speedmaster's 40th anniversary. So it really makes you think, how do you keep an icon like this relevant, keep it fresh, but still respect its past?
Right, and this is where it gets really interesting, especially if you appreciate good design, because the sources say a good white dial is actually pretty tricky to get right. What makes it such a challenge?
Well, the main thing is legibility.
Yeah.
You absolutely need strong contrast between the hands, the hour markers, and the dial itself. The common problem is, those applied, polished hour markers.
Ah.
Depending on the light, they can just vanish against a white background.
Ah, right. They blend in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to be fair, you can sometimes get that on black dials too, but it's often more pronounced with white.
So how did Omega tackle that? Taking cues from the 97 albino, you said.
They did. And the solution, well, it seems kind of obvious when you think about it, but lots of brands seem to miss it. Just use black hands and black hour markers.
Simple as that.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Omega did exactly that with the 97 watch, and they've done it again, really masterfully, with this new one. The hands and their applied markers, they're made from onyx black. It's a new method for them on this design. Ensures great legibility, and it looks really striking, too.
And the dial itself, is it just a flat, stark white? What's the finish like?
No, not flat at all. They went for a white lacquered step dial that gives it this really clean, pure white look. But what's interesting is that in most light, it actually feels more satin than like super high gloss lacquer,
Yeah. Oh, okay. So not like that Snoopy from 2015. That was quite flat, wasn't it?
Exactly. Not that sort of paper white look. This finish, it kind of elevates it. Adds a
Yeah.
touch of formality. It lets this Speedmaster sort of walk a fine line.
How so?
Well, it keeps enough of that basic tool watch chronograph vibe. So you can wear it every day. It's a great gated candidate. Go anywhere, do anything.
Uh-huh.
But it's also smart enough, formal enough, that you can definitely dress it up.
Sounds like they really sweated the details. Is there anything that feels like a slight trade-off? A compromise, maybe?
Well, if you're looking at pure function in all conditions, the loom. Our sources describe the loom as undoubtedly the weakest element.
Ah, okay. So the brightness in the dark isn't amazing.
It's there, technically, on the very tips of the black hour markers and down the middle of the hands.
Mm.
But yeah, it's not its strongest feature. So, every watch has its quirks, right? But honestly, even with that, the whole package, it just comes together brilliantly. It's incredibly legible in normal light, and it's really quite beautiful when you look closely at the details. One reviewer even said it sort of forced me to confront the design of the Moonwatch in a way I never have before.
Wow, high praise.
Yeah, leads to a deeper appreciation, apparently. It just reads and feels so different from the black dial version, like almost a completely different watch. Which means, if you love Speedmasters, it's perfectly fine to own both and enjoy them for different reasons.
Okay, so the dial is obviously the main event here. But the rest of the watch, it benefits from updates from this current generation, right? Tell us about the case. Dimensions still classic.
Yeah, the steel case keeps that classic shape, measures a very wearable 42 millimeters diameter, but importantly, it has the slightly slimmer profile, 13.2 millimeters thick.
Ah, the slimmer case from 2021.
That's the one. Introduced back in 2021. And those subtle changes, slimming it down a bit, honestly, that was enough to turn a lot of people who just appreciated the Speedmaster into actual owners. Made a real difference on the wrist.
And the bracelet, that was often a point people mentioned about the older ones. I hear this new one is, well, a game changer.
Oh, it really is. Look, the Speedmaster's famous for being a strap monster, right? It works on anything.
Yeah, definitely.
But the bracelet on the last generation, that was widely seen as its biggest weakness, a bit dated, maybe a bit clunky.
Okay.
This new generation bracelet from 2021 onwards, it's just far more modern. It's got this lovely taper, like 5 millimeters from the lugs down to the clasp.
Ah, that makes a difference in comfort.
Huge difference. It looks fantastic and it wears even better. So much so that loads of owners actually prefer it to straps now.
And there's an adjustment thingy too?
Yes. That was added a bit later, wasn't there? Right at the 2021 launch. A quick adjustment system built right into the clasp. Simple press to release. Gives you an extra few millimeters of room, for warmer days or whatever.
Nice, without making the clasp bulky.
Exactly. No added bulk. It's really well done.
So for this specific white dial version, what about the crystal and the case back? Any options?
Right. So typically with the 2021 Moonwatch generation, you got two main choices. There was one with a Hesselite crystal, that's the acrylic, to keep that vintage connection.
The classic speedy look?
Yep. And then there was another version with a sapphire crystal, front and back, so an exhibition case back. That sapphire version also got an applied Omega logo on the dial and polished center links PCLs on the bracelet.
Okay, so two flavors normally. What about the white dial?
Here's the key thing for you to know. The Omega Speedmaster White Dial Edition. It's only being offered with the sapphire crystal setup.
Ah, okay, so sapphire front and back is standard on this one.
Correct. Which means all of them will have those polished center links on the bracelet, the display case back to see the movement, and that applied Omega logo at 12.
Makes sense, maybe, given the slightly more formal lacquered dial.
Yeah, that choice feels pretty appropriate, I think. Although if you really don't like the PCLs, you can still fit a bracelet without them. Omega offers options.
Good to know. Okay, finally, the engine inside. The caliber 3861. What's the story there? What makes it special?
Right, this was another really big change with this generation starting in 2021. The 3861 was the first movement used in the regular production Moonwatch that had all these upgrades.
Still hand-wound, though.
Oh yeah, still a hand-wound chronograph. Got to keep that connection. But now it features Omega's famous coaxial escapement.
Ah, the coaxial. Better efficiency, stability.
Exactly. And it's META certified for accuracy, master chronometer status.
Which means serious precision and anti-magnetism.
You got it. It also offers a decent 50-hour power reserve, has a free-sprung balance with a silicone balance spring, and yeah, that magnetic resistance is impressive, 15,000 gas.
Wow.
You can see it through that exhibition case back. And look, it's an interesting movement to look at technically, but maybe not beautiful in the way some highly decorated movements are. It's very functional looking.
But that's kind of secondary when it's on your wrist, right?
Totally. It's an inconsequential detail once you're wearing it. The performance is what counts there.
Okay, so pulling it all together, what does this mean for you, the listener? Is this white dial just, another color option, or is there something more going on?
I'd say it's definitely more than that. And it's thanks to the sheer attention to detail that Omega's put in here. I mean, yes, technically it is a new dial on an existing watch platform, but the end result, it might just be the most sort of premium feeling steel Speedmaster they've ever made.
Premium feeling, how so?
Just the combination of the lacquer dial finish, the applied logo, the black markers, the upgraded case and bracelet. It all adds up. It might not have quite that same raw, straightforward tool watch feel as the classic black dial.
Right.
But it's honestly not far off.
Yeah.
And it gives you much more flexibility in how you wear it. Dress up, dress down.
Yeah.
And crucially, it manages to create, a welcome bit of space between itself and the classic black dial. It feels distinct, special in its own way.
So let's say you've looked at the classic Black Speedy before, maybe even the 4IS, the first Omega and Space model.
For the real enthusiasts.
And maybe they never quite clicked for you. Is this white dial version worth taking a serious look at?
Absolutely, I think so. This model feels genuinely different from the standard black dial Moonwatch. It wears the same, obviously, same case size, but the way it presents itself is quite different.
Interesting.
Look, it certainly isn't going to be for everyone. Some people will always prefer the classic black. But yeah, if you're open to it, it's that different, and the execution is that good. Worth checking out.
So we've really taken a deep dive into this Omega Speedmaster with the striking new white dial today. We've looked at its kind of surprising historical roots, those clever design choices making it so legible and versatile, and of course the big technical upgrades that define this whole generation of Moonwatch.
Yeah, it really shows how a brand can take an absolute legend, an icon, and carefully, meticulously evolve it. Create something that feels, both totally familiar and yet profoundly fresh at the same time.
And just for context, for those of you wondering about the price point, the White Dial Speedy comes in at $8,200 on the strap and $8,500 on that new improved bracelet.
Which brings us to maybe a final thought for you to consider. When does a change in just one key detail, like the dial color here, when does that, combined with all this careful design work and technical refinement, actually transform an established classic into something that feels entirely new, something that might offer you a completely distinct personal connection?
Hmm. Definitely something for you to ponder as you continue your own journey of discovery. We hope this deep dive gave you plenty of aha moments and maybe a shortcut to being really well informed on this one. Till next time, keep exploring.